If you are looking for a place in Baguio that feels a little different from your usual cafe stop, let me take you somewhere that feels like a whole experience in itself. ARCA'S yard. The moment you arrive, you will probably notice that this doesn't feel like a typical commercial cafe. It has this warm, homey, almost hidden away character that makes you want to slow down and actually look around. And honestly, that's what I like about this place. Instead of walking in and immediately looking for a table, I found myself looking at the interiors first. There are so many little details everywhere: wood, artwork, books, antiques, photographs, and pieces that gives the space a very personal character. It doesn't feel overly polished or designed just for aesthetics. It feels collected, and I think that's what gives Arca's Yard its charm. It feels like you are entering someone's home, except this home it happens to have a cafe, a library, art, and beautiful views of the mountains. The space is spread across several levels, so there are different corners to discover. Some areas feel cozy and intimate, while others open up toward the view. And if you are someone who enjoys places where you can sit quietly, have a conversation, read a book, or simply stare outside for a while, I think you will appreciate the atmosphere here. Because Baguio has no shortage of cafes, but there are certain places where you don't necessarily go just for the coffee or the food. You go because of how the place makes you feel. And Arca's Yard is definitely one of those places. There's also something interesting about its history. Arca's Yard began as a family home and eventually evolved into the cultural cafe and art space that people know today. So when you look around, the home-like quality actually makes sense. It wasn't created to feel like a generic cafe. It grew from a personal space into something that could be shared with other people. And you can really feel that when you are here. There's a sense of personality in the details. You will find books, art, pieces, traditional inspired elements, and objects that make you pause and wonder about the story behind them. I actually like places like this because they give you something to talk about even when you are not talking about the food. You can simply walk around and discover something new. And of course, we can't come to a cafe without trying something. The menu has comforting dishes that work really well with the whole atmosphere. Nothing that feels too complicated or intimidating. It's the kind of food you can enjoy while sitting down for a long conversation and taking your time. And that's probably another thing I appreciate about Baguio. There's something about eating in a cold mountain city that makes even an ordinary meal feel a little more special. And the view, the wooden interiors, the quiet corners, and the weather, and suddenly you don't feel like you are rushing anywhere. You're just there, and sometimes that's exactly what we need. If you are visiting Baguio and you are looking for something beyond the usual tourist spots, I would definitely put a place like Arca's Yard on your list, especially if you are into art, books, architecture, history, cozy interiors, and places with character. This is not necessarily the kind of place where you come in, take one photo, eat quickly, and leave. Give yourself time, look around, read the little details, find your favorite corner, step outside, and take in the mountain view. And maybe just sit there for a few minutes without feeling like you have to do anything, because sometimes the best places aren't the ones that give you the most things to do. They are the ones that make you want to stay a little longer. And I think that's the charm of Arca's Yard. It's a cafe, yes, but it also feels like a little piece of Baguio's creative and cultural soul tucked into one beautiful space. So if you're coming to Baguio and you are searching for a place that feels cozy, artistic, peaceful, and a little different from the ordinary cafe experience, maybe this one worth discovering. And as for me, I'm glad we stopped by because sometimes you don't just visit a place, you collect a feeling from it, and this one definitely feels like Baguio. Before anything else, look what just arrived on our table. Yes, food first because apparently sightseeing can wait. We have a few dishes to try today and everything already looks so inviting. There's something about having a warm meal while surrounded by Baguio's cold weather. First serve pizza. This one has that comforting, freshly baked kind of feel, warm, cheesy, and perfect for sharing. I like how it fits the whole relaxed vibe of the place. Nothing too complicated, just a good pizza to enjoy while taking in the surroundings. And yes, we definitely had to try it while it was still warm. Next, their pasta is definitely one of those dishes that feels perfect for a long, leisurely meal. The pasta is comforting and flavorful, and I love having it alongside the other dishes because you get a nice variety on the table. It's a kind of food you can keep coming back to between conversations, one for full, another story, and suddenly the plate is almost gone. And of course, we save room for what I was really curious about, their signature fried bagmus. Crispy on the outside, tender inside, and honestly, this is such a classic comfort food. I love that they have something familiar and homey like this on the menu. It feels very fitting for a place that has that warm, home away from home character. And after trying everything, I think the best part is that the food doesn't feel separate from the experience. You are not just eating, you are enjoying the interiors, the cool patio, weather, the view, and the company all at the same time. Good food, beautiful surroundings, and an atmosphere that makes you want to stay a little longer. And now, I think we've officially eaten our way through this little patio stop. Until the next one.